Hello, my name is Tracy Allen, and I want to welcome you to Cooking with Some Friends. Hello, welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. I am in the mood for ice cream. It seemed like when we were going to ball games every night that we'd stop for ice cream often, and then we're done with ball games, but I'm not quite ready to be done with ice cream. So I'm going to show in the next few weeks, we're going to do some homemade ice cream recipes, and I put a thing on my Facebook page, and the only response I've seen so far has been that people like chocolate. And I appreciate that because I like chocolate as well. So we will do some chocolate recipes, but right now I'm trying to use up some of my peaches, my fresh peaches. So we're going to make a fresh peach ice cream, and I'm going to get the base of it started, and then this evening or late this afternoon when my husband gets off work, he'll throw that in the freezer and we'll finish it up there and we'll show you that. But we're going to start with the basics now for actually making that base for our peach ice cream. So I have 5 egg yolks in my bowl, and I'm going to whisk that with my sugar, and I have a half a cup of sugar, and I want to whisk this together. Now you can do this right in the pan if you want to. I have a big saucepan there waiting for this, but I would rather whisk it in the bowl just so I don't use that rough edge of the whisk in my nonstick pan. Now once there are more items in there, that I don't feel like it's going to do as much harm to it. But and I just want to whisk this for a while until the color changes and it's well incorporated, and then I'll put it in my saucepan, and then I'll be ready to add the milks to it that it calls for. There are basically 3 milks in this. There's whole milk. Don't use 2%. It's really not rich enough. It won't give you that creaminess like whole milk will. So it's going to need 2 cups of whole milk. I will need some evaporated milk, a can of that, and a can of sweetened condensed milk as well. Okay, so those are whisked together well. So I'm going to turn the heat on to a medium to low, and I'm going to put these in my pan, the egg yolks and the sugar that I've mixed. I'll scrape that out a little bit better here in a second. And I'm going to go ahead and whisk in my milk, my whole milk. Got that wooden spoon there for when I need it. And I'm going to whisk in my sweetened condensed milk. So this is a really rich ice cream with that sweetened condensed milk, the whole milk, the sugar, the egg yolks that will make the custard. I got most of that out of there. Make sure I get all my eggs out. Then all I have to do is add my evaporated milk, whisk that in. I've been surprised how many people don't have the bottle opener that has the sharp end to open cans like this. We've always had one around as long as I can remember, but I've needed them when I've cooked a few places at other people's homes, and not everybody has them, and that always surprises me. Okay. So I'm going to whisk those together in my saucepan and cook that on medium-low, stirring it constantly for about 15 minutes. Okay, so we let our custard cook for about 15 minutes on medium to medium-low, and you can still see it's runny, but it will coat the spoon. Another way you might want to tell if after 15 minutes, if you have a candy thermometer, Most custards, they'll say, will reach 165 or right in that range. Just make sure you don't boil it to break it down. So anyway, so that's ready. Now I turned the heat off. I need to add the last 2 ingredients. And this is where my peaches come in, and the recipe calls for 2 cups, which this is just an average size peach. And so it took me 5 of those to get 2 cups of peaches that I've mashed up. And I'm gonna pour those right in my custard. And then I'm also going to put in the vanilla, and I'm gonna use 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. If you want to, you can use vanilla paste, which just gives you a little stronger vanilla flavor to add to it. But I want the peach flavor to come through. Okay. And you can see in the background when I separated my egg yolks and my egg whites, I'm saving my whites. We'll go ahead and add a couple whole eggs to that, and then either make French toast or scramble them or whatever, just so they're not wasted. Okay. Now I'm ready to let this, after I've stirred this all together, I'm just gonna set it on my trivet or set it at the back of the stove and let it cool to room temperature. That'll take about 30 minutes. And then I'm gonna cover it tightly and put it in the refrigerator for at least 4 hours, but you can put it in there up to 8. And then this evening, after we have supper, my husband will start the ice cream freezer and we'll make this into the ice cream. Okay, so we have the custard inside the canister, the peach custard that we made earlier that has been in the refrigerator for several hours. And the paddle's in there, and now we're ready to put it in the maker, put ice and salt around it, and let it go. Welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. I am in the kitchen today making a couple of things, and one of those, I had some blueberries that I need to use up, so I'm going to make some blueberry muffins. And they're a moist muffin that has a couple of fats in it that actually help make it moist. So I'm going to make 6 of the large muffins. Now it will make a dozen of the normal size muffins, but with just my husband and I here, we seem to eat these up better if we do the 6 jumbo muffins than if we do the 12 regular size muffins. So, which it's 6 1/2 dozen of the other actually. But anyway, so the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take 2 eggs and put that in my bowl. Put those in my bowl. Along with 3/4 cup of sugar that I have measured. And I'm gonna whisk those together until they're light and fluffy before I add the rest of the wet ingredients. So it's just a good way. The grandkids like to eat blueberries, and I made a triple berry pie and a bumbleberry pie, and I had some blueberries left over, so the obvious thing was to do some blueberry muffins or blueberry pancakes or something along that line. So okay, to that I'm going to add my sour cream, and I have 1 cup of sour cream. I want to mix in. And I wouldn't use low fat again because the fat content is needed to make that moist product that you want. I have 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, and you could substitute 1/2 cup of melted butter, or you could do 1/4 cup of each, whichever way you want to do it. And then I have 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I'll use it in a minute. So I want to whisk those in. Now there's not a chance of over mixing the wet ingredients. You just want to make sure though that all you need to do is make sure that there are no clumps and that it's mixed together. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside for a minute. And in my other bowl, I'm going to mix my dry ingredients. So I have 2 1/4 cups of flour. and I have some baking soda. I have about 1/2 to 3/4 of a teaspoon. I went a little closer to 3/4, and then 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So those are my leavening agents. Those are what are actually going to make it rise. So I want to mix those together. And then I'm ready to add my wet ingredients to my dry ingredients. You can make a well in the center if you'd like. It just kind of helps make sure you disperse the ingredients a little bit more evenly. And I'm going to use my spatula for this because it would just gum up in my whisk. Now this is when I could actually overmix. You don't want to do that. It would make your muffins tough and rise more with a peaked top. So I just want to mix those until the ingredients are all moistened with my wet ingredients. No dry poppets. Okay, the only other thing I have left to add to my main part of my muffins is I want to add in my blueberries. Okay, no dry spots. So I have about 1 cup to 1.5 cups of blueberries that are fresh. I'm going to put those in there. There's one with a stem. The stems don't really hurt, but I don't like them in my blueberry muffins. And I just want to fold that in to make sure we have a few blueberries in each muffin. And as those bake, the juices will actually moisten the muffin even more. Okay, so then I'm ready to fill my muffin cups, and I want to fill them about 2/3 of the way full. And then I'm going to put them in a 400-degree oven, and it'll take them about 18 to 20 minutes, but you can always check them by doing the toothpick test where you insert the toothpick, and if it comes out clean, you know they're done. When I get these in though, I'll show you on the first few, I'm gonna make a streusel that goes on top of these. And to make that, I have some brown sugar. I have about 1/4 cup of brown sugar, and I have about 1/2 cup of flour, and then I have some cinnamon. Now you can use up to 1/2 teaspoon of the cinnamon for your streusel. I have about 1/4 teaspoon because I don't want it to overpower quite so much. And then it's going to take 1/4 cup of butter that I'm just going to break up and cut into this to make my streusel. Cut that in with a fork until it's crumbly, and then it's ready to put over my muffins before I put them in the oven. I think streusel just kind of makes the muffin all that much better. So that's all there is to these muffins, and I will show you when they come out. I'm just going to finish mixing this up and then sprinkle it over the top. Just a reminder, if your muffin pans are not completely full, you need to go ahead and the empty ones without the muffin cup in it, you need to put about 1/4 cup of water in each one, or fill them 1/4 of the cup full, so that way your pan won't warp. That was just a reminder. So they're in the oven and ready to go. Thanks for joining us for this session of Cooking with Some Friends. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And find us on Facebook at Cooking with Some Friends.